Welcome back. It's 2017, and today we're reviewing Bye Bye Man on the Hollywood Redux Podcast.
Bye-bye, man.
Bye Bye Man.
No!
Yes, the Bye Bye Man. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Michael.
And, of course, we're coming to you from HollywoodRedux.com. But today we're talking about the Bye Bye Man, which,
Your thoughts?
It's weird because, let me just start by saying there's probably going to be spoilers ahead, so just know that's going to happen. So if you want to see the movie and not be spoiled before, please go watch the movie, then come back and watch this review. And you can check out all of our other cool reviews by subscribing below. But anyway, today we're talking about Bye Bye Man. Let me just say this. It was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
Really cool concept. I just felt like the execution was pretty rough.
That seems what the problem was.
And the thing that bothered me is that on the online, the online community seemed to really take to it and really like it. So I was like getting kind of hyped up to see this movie. I was like, okay, cool. Horror fans are kind of saying that they like it. Uh-huh. It could have just been early screenings. They could have been paid to say that. But I seriously doubt any horror fan will really like this movie. Unfortunately. I did not. I thought I found it comical at times.
I laughed at a few times.
We laughed at a lot of things.
Yeah, I gotta say. I didn't have any expectations. I had just barely seen a clip, like a 30-second trailer for it even, the night before. And so I really didn't have any expectations, didn't have any concerns on how good it was going to be. I was just going into it, luckily. And it was laughable at some points. One of my favorite points was when Trinity turns around, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Trinity!"
Yeah, Trinity just showed up and in the third act and started, giving everybody the business.
Yeah, it was great. Like, he's starting to believe.
She was actually the highest caliber actor on the cast. Not unfortunately.
She was great.
She was great. And I don't know the actor's name, but he played Virgil in the movie. He played Elliot's brother, and he was great. Even the little girl.
The little girl was great too.
The little girl was great too. And here's the thing: the actor who played Elliot, I've seen him in many things, and he's great. Like I haven't seen the other two leads, but I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. And everything I've seen him in, he's good. Like he's believable. He's great. And I feel like there was a lot of speaking of Trinity, there was a moment where. At the end of the movie, she's standing out, and I guess she's talking to the police chief, who just is dressed like every other beat cop out there, and she's the only one in plain clothes. It's kind of weird, but Wisconsin is actually a lot smaller than you think. I guess population-wise, so maybe she is the only detective for the town. But I guess she's walking with the police chief or the sergeant or something, and she's just like, "Hey, I think there's something more to this." And he literally stops at the car and goes. And he gets into the car. And it was just like, what?
What are you doing?
I leaned over at Michael and I just was disappointed. He was so disappointed in her.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of weird cuts like that made the performances suffer, in my opinion. There was so many times where all the lead actors either maybe started to they held the emotion and then they broke, or they were just doing something really quirky with their body movement or something.
Elliot,
and it was
just
there's just some weird stuff. It just made the actors seem like they were chewing on the scenery, and I, like I said, I know that I've seen some of these people in other things, and they were great. So I think it was more of a creative choice, in the editing room probably to leave that stuff in there, but it did not service the story at all. It did not service their character or their talent at all, and it takes you way out of the movie.
Yeah. One thing that was completely useless was that graphic of the wallpaper with the dog that turned into the demon dog of the
Hellhound or whatever.
Yeah. That was useless. We just went to that.
two things with the Bye Bye Man, with the actual character of the Bye Bye Man. His makeup and wardrobe, the character design on that and the makeup applications and stuff, very cool, very, very good.
And very cool concept
he was creepy. Whenever you'd see him show up in certain areas, you'd be like, damn, that's pretty creepy. I did feel like they kind of took a lot from the Babadook on a lot of the scares in this movie. It seemed like a lot of camera wipes to a coat that looks a little humanoid, or there was a humanoid figure in the coat, and then all of a sudden the light turns on and the coat falls over. That was straight out of the Babadook. But like, there was just so many moments that just fell flat. Like, even though there was characters dying in this movie left and right, there was never any stakes in the movie. There was never any like feeling of like, you know, if you're seeing a horror movie, if there's some good character development or the acting is good, you're gonna say, holy shit, I'm giving a damn when these people are getting axed like throughout the movie. Like in Scream, you care when everybody dies in that movie for the most part. I mean, even
Miss
you know,
Watkins.
Miss Watkins,
Poor
what the
Miss
hell
Watkins.
happened? Like, that character was just written into the movie to have another face in the movie, if I've ever seen one. Like, she's a great actor. She did great, you know, and even the part of her, like, killing her family, like, you see her with holding a bloody knife in the legs of her dead family there. You know she just murdered them. She's going to go kill those guys. But I had zero, like, thought for a second she was going to succeed or that she was even going to play a part later in the movie. And literally, she was the equivalent of a red shirt on Star Trek, where she all of a sudden, like, Elliot's driving home, like, out of the 1 in a million chances, she decides to be on that one road where Elliot's going to be driving home from a place she had no idea he was at in the first place, and she's going to stand there with a knife, like, halfway between that place and his house, so he has to run the rest of the way in the third act to try to build some type of suspense, I guess. But it was just, like...
It's not believable. It was very...
It just wasn't well executed. I wish it was, you know, there was nothing about the script besides it being kind of bad at parts. You know, I felt like maybe it was written and they really stuck to the script instead of saying, like, hey, you know, say what will come natural to you here. Yeah. Because, like, when they first walk into the house, John is like, hey, dude, sweet house, huh, bro? And, like, runs upstairs. And I'm not exaggerating. And when he said that line, I just said... fuck, like this movie is gonna blow. At least the writing. I was hoping for, like, you know, because horror movies, they're not meant to be Oscar award-winning screenplays. Even though the writer and the director of this were nominated for an Oscar at one point for a short film, and unfortunately I have to see that film because I don't know what happened, like, because there was no creative choices really anywhere that made like any, like, usually there's a shot somewhere, there's a title sequence, there's a line or something that you can at least, like,
the best part
hold on to.
The best part of the movie was actually the beginning of the movie when you get introduced to Redmond.
Yeah,
what was his name? The writer?
that we were talking about that on the way home. We're like, that must have been the pitch to get the job, because there's no way they thought out as hard as they thought that out, because it was really well planned out, really well acted, really well written, and then it cuts to the main story and you're like, black and white. Like, all of a sudden it's like some teenager's writing the script now and directing the movie, and it's definitely not a teenager, because this director did Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror.
Hood of Horror. Hood of Horror.
And I gotta tell you, that's a classic. It is.
We all love it.
That's so bad it's good. This is just not good, and there's no suspense really. Like, the only thing that was, like, suspenseful was the fact, like, the forced choices by the characters. Like, I'm gonna go explore my house on purpose. We kept looking at each other going, white people,
man.
But it's like, you know, this guy. Well, I'm gonna go explore the house. I'm hearing all these noises. I'm not gonna turn a single light on.
No, it's fine.
Like. Okay, I mean, that happens in every horror movie, I guess. But at least in every horror movie, they justify it by having a finger or a hand in an insert shot go like...
Didn't work.
Oh, the light doesn't work. I guess I'm forced to walk through in the dark. This did a lot of the things where it was just like, horror fans understand this shit. They'll get it. And, like, they just assume that you're going to, like, miss it. But if you don't have the setup to the joke or the setup to the scare or, like, you know, the setup to the magic trick... It doesn't matter what the punchline is or what the outcome is. And that's kind of how this movie was. There was, like, a great setup everywhere. You know, like that sequence with Redmond was awesome.
Did you tell anybody?
Yeah. That had stakes. That had stakes. That had the intensity and the suspense that I expected to come out of the rest of the movie. You see that opening scene and you're like, yes.
Fuck yes.
And then all of a sudden you see, like, the first scene with the main characters of the whole movie and you're like, no. And then the rest of the movie is just the same thing over and over and over. Horror movie trope without the setup, just the trope. And it just makes it seem like somebody was making fun of the horror movie a little bit. Like, honestly, you could change the soundtrack to this, and it would be a funny movie. It'd be like a scary movie, a little bit. But even Scary Movie does the setup.
Yeah.
So the punchline works. But, but yeah. I mean, don't take our word for it. Tell us what you think about the movie in the comments below. If you liked it, didn't like it. Otherwise, for the Hollywood Redux Podcast, that's going to do it for us this week. I am Matt. You can find me on social media at Splashdown1.
And I am Michael, and you can find me at What the Hess.
And we're coming to you from HollywoodRedux.com. Be sure to check out all of our other content there. And we'll see you next time. Hey, be sure to buy a shirt just like that one at our store.
Hey friend, do you like variety? Because there's all sorts of variety on this page below me. Like if you like this video, right here you can click for more, just like it. Right here you can subscribe to all of our social media. If you like mustaches and t-shirts, click over here to visit our online store. You can buy cool shirts made by our friend Cressida. Or you can subscribe by clicking this round bubble right here. Or not. If you're still watching, thanks Mom. See you next time.